Without any additional bonuses at this stage of the game, you can have 25 armor class, flat. No bonuses, no buffs, whatever. Always dipped, always doing additional damage. So that's just crazy. So, how to build this broken character? So, race of choice basically could be any race, but I'm picking Drow, especially Sworn Drow, for racial futures with some darkness and other stuff. And most importantly, we will get this rapier and hand crossbow proficiency from this race, because we won't start as Bard or Warlock. When you build in Bard and Warlock multiclass, you want to hit at least level 6 as Bard, because you will get this extra attack feature and Bard getting it on level 6 instead of level 5 like other classes. For Warlock, we will be picking Great Old One, very defensive, cool subclass, and main feature of this Warlock comes in line on level 6. You will get this entropic ward that will give you ability to use reaction to negotiate damage on yourself. But with this build, we will use reaction on other stuff. So we don't have spare reactions, and basically we have this one extra multi-class level to fill with some other classes. And I recommend starting this build with Fighter. So Fighter will give us Constitution proficiency saving throws. And as you maybe know or not know, Constitution used for saving throws for concentration spells, and Bard and Warlock have concentration spells as they like main spells. So we're definitely starting as Fighter, and you can pick one of the two fighting styles. I will pick Defense or Dueling. Dueling is actually main damaging style, so we will be with Dueling. So fighting style, we're picking Defense as Fighter for this build. You will understand it in a minute. For background, you need to pick deciding on what is your starting class. So main road, when you play in this Bard lock, will be first level of Fighter, then you go with 5 levels of Warlock, followed by 6 levels of Bard. Or vice versa, you go with 6 levels of Bard and then 5 levels of Warlock. For example, if you play in Warlock, you can be something like Noble for Persuasion proficiency. If you play in Bard, you can go Entertainer for Acrobatics performance, or Urchin for Sleight of Hand stealth. And we will be Urchin right now, so we will be like making a rogue slot in our party. So, abilities. Main ability is Dextirity and Charisma. So you're basically bumping up this up to 16. Then you get in Constitution up to 14. And last 2 points in Strange and Wisdom, for example. That will be our starting distribution. But when you hit your Act 2, or even just before you hit your Act 2, in late Act 1, you can go and respec your character, and I will do it from the start. And instead of having high dexterity, you will leave this dexterity on 10, just to have pretty reasonable initiative rolls. And instead you will add to wisdom to 14 just for wisdom saving throw. For skill proficiency with this combination of draw and our fighter class, I will go with acrobatics and intimidation. So let's build. So just after fighter, we're going to Bard, we're picking our cantrips. Early game cantrips can be any kinda, but good one will be Vicious Mockery for damage, and Minor Illusion for utility and some distraction, other stuff. Starting spells for Bard: Fairy Fire to concentrate and give advantage on attack rolls against targets. Healing Word to heal your party, you kinda support role at this point. Long Strider, nice spell to give additional movement speed in battle. And you can go with solo target disable, Tasha's High Dose Laughter or Sleep. Just whatever you like more. And as you can see, Bard multiclass not giving you proficiency in any weapons, armors or other stuff that you will need. That's why you want to pick Draw as race for this build especially. If you want to play other build, you can basically skip on Fighter, have 6 Bard, 6 Warlock, and start with the Bard. And this build will work with any race. But that's like most powerful and broken version. So for Bard skills, I will go with Deception or Persuasion, whatever you like more. Then basically finishing with Bard level 6. So good spells, Dissonant Whispers. And if you're playing Draw on level 3, you will get this Fairy Fire from Draw, so you don't need it from Bard. You can replace Fairy Fire right now and have something for exploration like Feather Fall. So level 4, we're picking subclass, we're going with College of Swords, of course, with fighting style Dueling. And we're getting access to level 2 spells. We can go Hold Person for single target disables, Phantasmal Force for single target, damage every turn, or Shatter for large area of effect damage. So level 5, that's where we get in our feat, and we want to use this feat as crossbow expert right now. This will give us ability to use our bonus action in melee range to attack with our crossbows. So for spells, pick whatever you haven't picked already, cantrips doesn't matter. Level 6 will give us level 3 spells, and cool spell will be Hypnotic Pattern to disable your enemies in some area. Another good choice is Cloud of Daggers. So depending on what you want to do more damage or disable targets in some area. And on level 7 you finally get in this extra attack from Bard. You can get more spells. So right now it's nice time to pick this Cloud of Daggers. And if you picked Sleep, you can already change it for any other spell, but other spells is working nicely. So that's it for our Bard, and let me show you how you will do it in early game, what we will have actually over here. So let's go about early game items. Basically you can pick whatever good item you can find. In first act you can find pretty good rapier, and you want to find a rapier basically. So you want to find any item that is not two-handed or not versatile for dueling to work. So basically you will get a rapier in your hand and find any shield you can find. This will give you nice armor class in early game. Additionally, as fighter you basically can use any type of armor you will find, so you can go with any medium, any like heavy armor you can get, and you will have really high armor class. And basically at the start of the first act you pick in whatever you find. You don't need to focus a lot on gear, and your build will start to form around these levels, around level 6, around level 7. When you finish in your first act, go into second act, and all this build can be achieved at around start of act 2. So we want to have these evasive shoes, we want to have these gloves of dexterity. That's why at this point you want to respect your character and dump dex to 10 and change for these gloves, just like that. So these gloves will give us dexterity up to 18 with +1 to attack. This means we will hit targets more often. So for armor, go with any armor you can find, but you can find it in the start of act 2. And this will add your full dexterity modifier with medium armor class, plus bonus to initiative roll. So basically, without any additional bonuses at this stage of the game, you can have 25 armor class, flat. No bonuses, no buffs, whatever. And that's just crazy unkillable Duellist character at this point. So amulet and ring. This amulet you can get from act 1 if you kill Kaga, and this caustic band from act 1.5 you can buy it from trader, everything on the screen right now. So this will give you additional damage to your weapon attacks. This will coat your weapons in poison whenever you healed, and this works with potion of healing. And you want to find any hand crossbow you can find. You can buy it from trader, you can have it from drops from this first act. So basically you start your act 2 with these crossbows easily. Not with this one, but with basic crossbows. And look at this. So we got 25 armor class. Whenever we using potion of healing, for example, as bonus action, or whenever we using healing word on ourselves, for example, as bonus action, we coat our weapons in poison, and they starting to do just crazy amounts of damage. So this works on our double hand crossbow. So most importantly, as this type of bard, you don't want to use bardic inspiration on allies all the time. I don't actually like to use this stuff too much, because it will add 1d8 bonus to next attack roll, ability check or saving throw. And for ability checks, it's awesome. It's very good stuff for ability checks. So when you need to pass some dialogue option, if you need to pass some sleight of hand and other stuff, that's good. That's really good stuff. But in a fight, just for one attack, using your limited resource is not actually cool stuff, in my opinion. So, as this type of bard is sword bard, we will use our bardic inspiration for these flourishes. And we got defensive flourish, which will increase our armor class by 4 if we manage to hit enemy with this flourish. And we can use it from range or melee. This means we can have 29 armor class at this point of the game, and that's just broken. So when you're fighting with this style, I recommend to instantly turn off this dual wielding. Because if you're not turning this off, you will always attack with your offhand crossbow when you're making attack, even if it's killing enemy. And basically at this point of the game, you want to position yourself in a good position, and you can start with your crossbows. So you start in fight from the range with the crossbows. They're already doing the damage, plus dexterity modifier, plus you can get healed, and you will coat your double crossbow in this coating, and to do heal you can basically throw healing potion with your allies on yourself, and just like that you start fight with crazy amounts of damage. So you can do one crossbow attack, you can reposition yourself, you can do offhand crossbow attack, and you can make one more attack. It could be again crossbow attack, or it can be any flourish. So it can be flourish which pushes target up to 6 meters, so you can push target away from you and then teleport to your target. That's very useful if target is big and you need to protect your allies, because you're actually a very tanky person, so you can push targets away, go in and attack with your rapier instead. So we're not forced to use crossbows all the time. And yeah, flourishes will have additional damage, don't forget it. So let's just use pushing flourish on this dude. And look at this damage. So we're doing 1d6 plus 1d8 plus 1d4 plus 2 flat. And that's pretty nice damage at this point of the game, considering we're doing at least 3 attacks in one turn. But actually, when you're using slashing flourish, you can attack 2 enemies at once from the range, and that's crazy amount of damage. And that's without using any potions. Again, we're not using any speed potions, other stuff. We can buff it even more with haste potion and other cool stuff. You playing like this, if needed, you can use your action to make enemies suffer. You can use your action to try to like disable enemies. Most of the time in the fight you will use Bardic Inspiration for flourishes. Outside of the fight for inspiration, you can use your offhand attack to use your bonus action, for example, and then use your action to use your spells on enemies. So if you succeed on hold person, your attacks becoming critical hits, and you basically can unleash lots of critical hits from melee range with your crossbows, just like that. Insane amount of damage. And just in case, you will use your melee weapon in melee range. So then you're finishing your build, basically. You're basically switching into Warlock with Eldritch Blast and whatever cantrip you like, with a great old one sub-class. So spells of choice will be Armor of Agathys, and any spell you like, it doesn't matter too much. Second Warlock level gives you Eldritch Invocation, so it's Agonizing Blast and Repelling Blast to increase power of your Eldritch Blast, basically, if you want to use it. Most important level is level 3, where we get in Pact of the Blade, and right now we can pact our weapon to make our weapon damage magical. Damage from our weapon is now not negotiated by resistances, and we can use our charisma modifier to increase power of our weapon, but don't rush it. So we're picking Misty Step to have some mobility in fights. At this point of the game, you don't want to use your charisma instead of dexterity, because our charisma is lower than dexterity right now, because Gloves of Dexterity giving us 18 dexterity. And basically we're finishing with Warlock, with like any spells you like. We getting feet, we getting our charisma up to 18. And last level 5 Warlock, it's our finishing level, will give us additional Eldritch Invocation, so we get in Devil's Sight, so we can see through magical darkness. That's very cool. We get an additional spell. I recommend to go with Hunger of Hader. And most importantly, we get in this cool feature, Deepened Pact. Now we can have extra attack with Pact weapon. And that's when build finally finished and become broken. So for weapons, again, I showed you this where you can find every weapon you like. At this point of the game, you want to find this Duellist Prerogative and unequip shield. So we getting rid of our shield, because this weapon is very cool. And we got 2 hand crossbows, so we can continue using our hand crossbows. But do we need hand crossbow feat right now? No, we totally not need it. We can stick with melee range with Duellist Prerogative, and we want to find these last items. So, Ring of Regeneration can be bought, and it will heal you on the start of every turn. This means you will coat your weapons with poison basically every turn. Birthright can be bought in the middle of Act 3, I guess. So, Charisma +2 up to 22. And that's cool. So basically we can get rid of crossbow expert feat, and instead we can go into +2 to charisma, and we will get 22 charisma at this point. And armor of choice. While we can still get this armor, it still works pretty nicely, we can switch to another one. You can go with BHAALIST armor, it's very cool stuff. But this will force you to be like bad person actually. You can get it in Act 3. So if you don't want to be bad person, you can go with elegant studded armor, studded leather, you can easily find it. Very cool looking actually character. This gives you ability to cast shield, so you can have armor class in case you need it sometime in a fight. But BHAALIST armor is insane. So enemies in melee range will become vulnerable to piercing damage, unless they resistant or immune to it. That basically means all damage will be basically doubled. So you start your day again with Long Strider. As always, you want to bind your weapon, and your weapon will do a lot more damage right now. You want to upcast Armor of Agathys on yourself, and you can do it a lot of time because you got basically 5 spell slots of level 3, and you can replenish this on short rest. Just make sure to get Armor of Agathys from Warlock, and you can replenish short rests with Song of Rest. As Bard, basically you have a lot more spell slots of level 3 if you need. So, first of all, of course we can basically attack multiple persons just like that with our hand crossbows for insane amount of damage. We still get our extra attack and our offhand attack, but our main power lies in our weapon, of course. So what our weapon is possible to do? Basically, when we attacking with this awesome weapon, we get this ability to use our reaction to inflict necrotic damage equal to our proficiency bonus, basically 4 necrotic damage. And because of this weapon, we get 2 reactions, so we can do it 2 times. And because it's packed weapon, we can attack 3 times in 1 action. This means if you cast it, you can basically use Hunger of Hader on your enemies, and then still make 1 with reaction attack, 2 with reaction attack. Oh my god, what is the damage? And 3 with reaction attack. Additionally, as you can see, we're rolling critical strikes even with 19, because we got this ability from Duellist Prerogative. So this weapon gives us ability to crit when we're rolling 19 instead of 20. So in case we need more armor class than 23, we're basically using our melee flourish to increase our armor class, or we can use mobile flourish to push enemy away, just like that, to deal additional damage. Then we get ability to teleport to him with mobile flourish, and this will use no action, no bonus action. We basically just teleporting to our target, just like that. Then you can make bonus action attack with your main weapon, and basically you're becoming really crazy duelist who making lots of reactions and around 10 attacks in 1 turn. And that's like crazy stuff. So amounts of attack you can do with this type of weapon, as you can see, is insane. And I can do even 1 more attack. That's crazy, that's just insane. And as you can see, we always dip in our weapon, so we just healed with this ring, so we dipped the weapon again. Our weapon is always dipped, always doing additional damage. And minimal damage we can do with this weapon. It's not 15, because it's not accounting to our +4 from reaction. At minimum, if we cast it, if we got these 2 actions, we can basically make 10 attacks, and 2 attacks will be with additional +4, so at minimum, we're doing 115 damage, just like that. 115, it's crazy. And coolest part, I want to show you this coolest part. Let's cast this Cloud of Daggers on ourselves. So as you can see, we succeed concentration saving throw. Because we got this bonus from Constitution modifier, because we started as fighters. So breaking our concentration is really insanely hard. And as you know, standing in Hunger of Hader, so as this type of bard, we basically can stand in this Cloud of Daggers or any other spell, or just in bunch of enemies, take damage, and never break our concentration. We just never break our concentration. So we can basically go and try to hypnotize everyone over here, and our concentration will never be broken. I hope you enjoyed this awesome Warlock build. This is really very fun to play and incredible build to try in Baldur's Gate 3. Watch other cool builds on the screen right now and see you in the next videos, guys.